Hey folks, happy Friday. Mike here, back with Fridays with Mike. I hope everybody's having a great week, and I hope everybody's looking forward to Father's Day weekend. I've got a special message for Father's Day today, and I hope you guys will enjoy this message. I just want to share some words of encouragement and share some passages and some things in the Bible that really helped me over the years and just through some of the struggles of fatherhood and being a husband and some things like that. So I'm going to dive right in. I know, we're living in a time right now where I really feel, I know that the family is under siege and under attack by the enemy. And dads are definitely in the sights of the evil one, and he is really just trying to throw us into, all the lies of the world and society that, that we're toxic, pull us into passivity, pull us into, just pull us into our work, and really drive us away from, putting on the armor of God and really standing up for our family and being a guardian and a shield around our family. And so that's some of the things I want to share about today, and just really how God has helped me and shown me, that He is my rock and my salvation and my fortress, and how to lean into Him in those times and those struggles of manhood and masculinity and fatherhood and just being a dad. And I mean, being a dad's hard these days. I really feel like growing up, I never imagined that there would be a time where the family would be so under attack. Watching my dad as a father and watching the men around him that he was friends with and everything, I just thought it was going to be a lot of fun and easy, and that they made it look fun and easy, but I think that they were, and I know they had their struggles and their difficulties, but I really feel like the family's come under attack more than it ever has been, and I think it's for a reason. I mean, I think the evil one, Satan, knows that the family is a pillar of society. It's a pillar of God's creation and His plan, and he is doing everything he can to attack that and undo it. And that's part of what God calls us to do as men, is to fight back darkness, to fight back evil. And that's what some of these verses are about that I want to share with you guys. And some of the things that I've learned that have really helped me with that battle over the years. So without further ado, I'm going to dive right in. It's been a long week. Got the big cup out this morning. Coffeeing up. So let's rock and roll. I'm going to start this morning right into Psalms 62. I love this psalm. It's about that fortress and that rock and that stronghold that God is for us men. And when we're feeling down, we're feeling attacked, we're feeling insufficient, we're feeling like all of our efforts, our work, just dealing with bills and kids and just everything going on in the world, and when we're not feeling strong enough, we're not feeling sufficient, I feel like this psalm right here is a great place to lean into. Read this and just know that God is there for you and that He loves you. He loves you, that you're trying as a dad, that you're trying to be a provider, a protector, and just all the things. No matter what walk of life you're going through right now, I believe that this psalm will speak to you. And so I hope you'll listen close to this one this morning. Write this one down. Go highlight it in your Bible, because this is a good one to have in the quiver, guys. Psalm 62. My soul waits in silence for God only. From Him is my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. I shall not be greatly shaken. How long will you assail a man, that you may murder him, all of you? Like a leaning wall, like a tottering fence? They have counseled only to thrust him down from his high position. They delight in falsehood. They bless with their mouth, but inwardly they curse. Selah. My soul, wait in silence for God only, for my hope is from Him. For he only is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. I shall not be shaken. On God, my salvation and my glory rest, the rock of my strength. My refuge is in God. Trust in him at all times. O people, pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. Selah. And Selah, some biblical scholars kind of have a couple different translations, but I guess the one that speaks to me mostly is that it's a place to pause and reflect. Some people believe it, or translate it, or believe it means to lift up. But I want to share that verse with you guys. I just feel that that's a deep, strong verse. King David is there talking about, rather than putting our faith or our trust in the ill-gotten, in folly and in human strength, that we should put our faith in God. And that verse just speaks volumes to, as dads, as husbands, where we need to put our strength first, where we draw that strength from. We draw it from God. God gave us a spirit of strength and courage, and that's a place where we can go and see where we can draw it from, that we can draw it from God. So the next verse I have for you guys I want to share this morning, and this verse came to me at a time, when I just really needed it, and it spoke directly to my heart. I was feeling, is when the twins came, and I was going to be a father of 5 now instead of 3, and I was feeling like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to pay for all this? It's just all the questions. We need a bigger house. We need a bigger car. We need this. We need that. I need to make more money. It was just throwing myself out of like, how am I going to do this? I don't know how to do this. I've now reached my limit. I can't. And so this verse came to me, and in a roundabout way, and I read it, and then I read it again, and then I studied it, and then I read the study version of it. I went and read it in a couple different versions of scripture, so a couple of different translations. I read it in my wife's translation, and her study verse had a really good note in the bottom about that. The verse spoke to me, but then my wife's study Bible really spoke to me about how you should view children, and like I said, man, it just really turned. It just changed my heart. It turned my mindset around, and just really helped me through a time where I was struggling about the future. And and it's a short verse, and that's what's funny is sometimes verses, and this verse may not speak to you guys, but man, it spoke to me. And it's funny how God speaks to you, and how a verse in the Bible may really, really speak to what you're going through and help you through something. So that's why I want to share this verse this morning. So this is Psalm 127, 3 through 5, and it says, "Behold, children are a gift of the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. How blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. They shall not be ashamed when they speak with their enemies in the gate." And I'm going to read a little bit on the bottom here, and it says, "Children born," in the study version, "children born when their parents are young are like arrows to defend and support their parents in difficulties and old age." And it also talks about fathers of large families had more prestige, and so, and I'm not necessarily concerned about the prestige, but the part that spoke to me, or the part that I was more concerned about and interested in, and what spoke to me, was that children are a reward, that they are a gift. And I needed to hear that. And God showed me this verse and put this verse in front of me at a time when I was really struggling with that. And for all intents and purposes, that I was overwhelmed by my blessings. And so the mindset that changed in me when I heard that verse was that, wow, I'm being blessed with these children. And not only are they a blessing, they're a reward. And of course, I'm like, why am I receiving a reward from God right now? What have I done? But nevertheless, when God gives you a reward, or he gives you a blessing or a gift, you should take time and really appreciate and love and think about how you're going to care for that gift. and nurture it and nourish it. And so that was the mindset change that I had, is that I've been rewarded and I've been gifted with these children, and I'm lucky to be a father of 5 and blessed to be a father of 5. And I look back on that when I'm having a hard time, because you've got 5 kids, 2 boys and 3 girls, and they've all got different personalities and they've all got different wants and needs. And I love them for each and every one of those different personalities, wants, and needs. And but it's tough to manage sometimes, and it's tough to parent all that. So that verse helped me just to remember that this is a reward, and to change my mindset to a positive mindset of thank God for these children, thank God that I'm learning from them, thank God that I'm learning how to be a better dad. And so I hope that makes sense, and I wanted to share that because who knows, it helped me, maybe it'll help somebody else. And so the next verse, my marker fell out here, but I can find it real quick. The next verses I want to share, and while I'm finding those, is about being a better dad, a better husband, and a better father. What are some gifts as a father that we can give to our children? And I have 2 that I want to share. And number 1 is to raise your children up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. And 2 is to love their mother. And both of those are extremely important. And so I'm gonna read these verses through here. I'm gonna kind of jump around just a little bit in Ephesians here, but I'm in Ephesians 5:25, and it says, "Husbands, love your wives just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself up for her, so that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word." And it also says, this is verse 28, "So husbands ought also to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his own wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ also does the church." And then the bottom here it says, Nevertheless, each individual among us, you also is to love his own wife even as himself, and the wife must see to it that she respects her husband." And I wanted to throw that in there too, because as we're loving our wives and we're showing our children how we can love our wives, wives, you also need to respect and love your husbands. That this is a mutual, that we are one body, that we are one body with Christ, and that we are a cord of 3 strands, and 3 strands makes a stronger rope, makes a stronger cord with Christ in the middle of it. So husbands leading our families in a Christ-like manners, wife, loving and respecting your husband. And I'm not going to get into the husband-wife role stuff today. I actually want to do that in another episode sometime. But we each have our roles. They're extremely important. They're to be nourished and cared about, and then also place Christ in the middle of that and show our children what that looks like. And that is, I believe that is one of the greatest gifts that we can give our children as fathers, is to nurture that Christ-like marriage and to love our wives as ourselves. And then the last verse I want to share with you guys here today is Ephesians 6, and it's 1 through 4. "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, so that it may be well with you, and that you may live long in the earth. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord." So that's the verses I want to share today. That last verse there, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Such an important verse. There's a lot of meaning I think you can pull from that. I'm going to share a little bit about some things my dad taught me growing up, and then on into parenting, some things he helped me with. It is Father's Day, and I do want to honor my dad in this as well, and dedicate some of this to him, my dad Mark. And so one of the things that he taught me was to never discipline your children out of anger. And I think that is so important, and it's especially an important lesson for me, and I'm glad he shared it with me, and I'm glad to have that verse to lean back on, because that's one of my sin patterns is anger. Now, I have a lot of patience as a man and as a father, and my patience can stretch a long ways. But we all run out of patience eventually, right? So when I run out of patience, well, when it's out, well, I get angry, and that it's a means to an end, a cause and effect. So I have a lot of patience, and I can be patient for a long time, but I get angry, and so to stop and pause and to prolong the patience and to really lean into that verse about I'm trying to raise these children up in the love and instruction of the Lord, is where things kind of get difficult for me as a dad. And so I try my best not to discipline out of anger. I try to discipline out of love. And so it's a pause, it's a listen, it's a time to instruct, and then to explain why I'm disciplining my children at this given time for what they did. And so I find that very helpful. I'm not perfect at it, but I try, and it's something that I really try to work on, and try to teach the kids why they're being disciplined and why they need this particular discipline in an area. So something I just wanted to share with you guys in that regard. But man, that's I'm gonna stop there today. Like I said, I want to dedicate this to my dad, Mark, and my grandfather, Bill, Papaw, and all the dads and granddads out there. I know you're fighting the good fight and trying hard, and that's really what counts. It's really what matters. That we're out there trying, that we're out there giving it our best. Trying as fathers, and I hope these verses and things will really help you guys and give you guys some things that you can lean into. The last thing I want to read you guys this morning is it's from a book my pastor shared with me, Pastor Marty at Rush Creek, and I'm very thankful. I just finished the book, and so this was a perfect timing to have this book to start. And I'm a few chapters in, and I'm absolutely loving it already. And that's why I wanted to share out of it this morning. And what I wanted to share with you guys this morning was just really about how, as dads, sorry, I lost my place here. But as dads, we were made for this time, that we were uniquely placed in this time. And I really lost my place. But I do want to read this verse, or read this to you guys this morning and share this with y'all. Sorry about it, guys. Just give me 1 second. My bookmark just fell out. Well, this doesn't happen very often. I typically have my place mark. Oh, here it is right there. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So this is Matt Chandler, The Overcomers, and my pastor recommended this book to me, like I said. And so it says, in Acts 17, the Apostle Paul gave what I believe was his most comprehensive sermon. Standing in the epicenter of Athenian politics and religion, Paul says, and he made from one man every nation of mankind to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their dwelling place, that they should seek God and perhaps feel their way toward him and find him. Yet he is actually not far from each one of us, verses 26 and 27 in Acts 17. Notice that Paul said God has determined allotted periods and boundaries of our dwelling place, verse 26. Simply put, you are not an accident. Your parents' family planning has no bearing on your being here. God had an allotted time for you. That time is now. I said this earlier, and I'll say it again. This is your day, your time, not Moses or David's or Peter's or Paul's, ours, yours. We were made for this day, and this day was made for us. Amen. I wanted to share that with you guys because no matter what walk of life you're going through, what you're dealing with, God made you, made us for this time, and this time for us as dads. It's time for us to pick up the armor of God, pick up the sword, pick up the shield and guard our families, lean into the Lord, know that He is our rock and our salvation, and lead that way as men and as fathers. And I know that to be truth. And I just felt like that excerpt out of that book right there put that so well. So I wanted to read that and share that with you guys this morning. So I haven't done a Mike's Tips in a while, so I wanted to just share a couple other books with you. So the Overcomers by Matt Chandler, I just read out of. I just finished this book. This is the second time I've read it. I read it years ago, but I felt like I needed to read it again, and just kind of in the walk of life that I'm going through right now. And so Wild at Heart, John Eldredge, just so many great things in here about just discovering about a man's soul and just the inner self, who God calls us to be and why He calls us and why He made us the way He made us. Some really good points in there about the false self and, kind of how we have a tendency as men to, follow societal norms with work and what our passions are and what we're called to do. What versus what God calls us to do and God calls us to be. And so that book is really great about that journey. And another one here, and this speaks more to the times right now, kind of post-COVID, dealing with, all the stuff that's been going on, from COVID times to all the wars going on in the world and just a lot of crazy stuff and, just a lot of uncertainties. And this is another John Eldredge book. It's called Resilient by John Eldredge. So a couple books I wanted to share with you guys in the Mike's Tips. I haven't done given some tips in a while. And I enjoy reading. I enjoy reading for pleasure too. I love books about Native Americans, Indians, and just war fighting and military stuff. So in history, but I also have really enjoyed some of these books on spiritual walks. So I wanted to share those with you guys because I felt like they were just really helpful. Just provide a lot of good insight and also direct you to some different scripture and stuff, which is always helpful as well. So, but anyways, that's all I got this morning, guys. I love you guys. Hope everybody has a great Father's Day weekend. Getting out there and just enjoying the outdoors. Hope you guys are maybe smoking some good meat or something like that. Dad's out there doing some barbecuing and pit bossing or Traegering. So anyways, happy Father's Day. I love you all. Happy Father's Day to my dad. And just thank you for everything you've done for me in my life. And most of all, thank you to the Father on high, God, and everything He's blessed me with in my life. And that's it. Happy Father's Day. Love you guys. And please share this message with anybody who may need to hear it. Mike out.